Good. So we were just hoping that you could maybe describe the surrounding area or areas of the various incarnations of the funnel, like the
I can only
businesses.
talk about the incarnation at the funnel that was on King Street. Mm-hmm. Because when the funnel left King Street and when that big breakup happened, I didn't really have that much to do with the funnel after that. I didn't go that often anymore. By that point, I think I had moved on to different kinds of iterations of my practice as an artist and a filmmaker. And I think that a lot of us who were involved in the funnel at the end when that breakup happened and they left the space, the ones that were sort of outvoted by the powers that be, that group of people probably didn't really have that much to do with the future iteration of the funnel, except, not like it was like a bitter, horrible breakup or anything, but I just think that people went in different directions. So I can really only talk about the funnel on King Street. And it was kind of under a bridge. It's this industrial area. That part of King Street, as it's starting, I think it's near Parliament. There's furniture stores and stuff there now, but at the time it was just a pretty grotty neighborhood with a couple of old, beer bars and greasy spoon restaurants. It hadn't been gentrified. Mm-hmm. And the building itself was this sort of big 4-story brownstone, middle-sized industrial type building. But the theater was great. I mean, it had a raked stage and comfortable seats and projection booth from which, there was lots of films up there and different kinds of projectors that you could use. There was also open space. Like I say, it was a pretty raw space, and they just turned it right off at the end of 5 o'clock. Goodbye heat. That's my memory. Even, I don't know, I don't remember being that cold in the theater. So maybe they kept it going. I'm not sure how it worked in the theater, but I know in the editing areas it was just freezing half the time in there in the evening. And when we started to get harassed by the censor board, another thing that they did was they sent in these building inspectors. So we had to do all this. I remember hanging upside down from the ceiling. Nobody inspected this stuff. Putting layers of insulation on the ceiling from underneath, or the ceiling underneath the floor or something, and all this kind of compliance, fire code compliance stuff. But in a nutshell, it was light industry sort of, it wasn't a scary neighborhood. You didn't feel oh, I'm walking the streets at night. Because the King Street and the Queen Street cars went to it pretty directly. I was always a West Ender. We had an artist-run center of our own, a little place called Rumor Publications that was where Tironi's is now on Queen West, just up the street here near Queen and Niagara. And so I would just cut across on the Queen Street car. It was on that line, but...
Interesting. I can't remember what I was
it wasn't really integrated into a neighborhood, if that's what you mean. It wasn't there, although some of the funnel members did get industrial space and studio space nearby. And I remember Anna rented a little condo near there. But I never moved out to the East End, to that part of the East End.
I was wondering if the theater was on in the basement, or was it on one of the floors, the theater, or was it the whole...
It was kind of the main floor.
The main floor. Okay.
Yeah.
Because part of our project
if you go up
we're
and...
going to go in the building.
Yeah, you should definitely
now.
go up and, again, it's weird to remember, but I believe I had to walk up some stairs, and then it was it was one of those buildings where you sort of had to go up some stairs to get to the main floor part. And so that was where the gallery was and the offices, and then you had to go, the theater sort of was raked down,
Okay.
Below grade. But when we were doing that ceiling stuff, it was from the basement. So it's definitely not in the basement, although we might have had some storage space down there for things.